Actually, I stick up for the wife on the boat. It's the husband I fight with.
Well, the wives are better,
in my
actually.
50 years, you wouldn't believe how many fucking times I have to go to the wife and I said, yes, because the husband's being a dick, and I said, yes, you should be worried. It's called drowning. I just don't want to talk.
Where did you get this guy?
I've been on the water for 50 years. I've seen it. That's what happens. Nobody gets it.
It's a love-hate thing, John.
It's a love-hate thing. It's not funny, man.
Ahoy! This is your captain speaking, Greg Michael of Pinnacle Marine Group, Marine Surveyors, and welcome aboard the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. I'm joined by Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright, and aboard this vessel, we talk everything about boats, the build, the mechanics, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We go where the seas take us. The topics will be endless. Electronics, marinas, restaurants, vacations, cruising and fishing. Our show includes live callers with real questions. Let's fare these waters together. Call 772-773-2600 every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. Ahoy, and welcome to the Nauti Buoys Boat Show. I'm your host, Captain Greg Michael, Marine Surveyor, and sitting next to me is our beloved Captain Happy, Glenn Shadbolt, Marine Mechanic and Shipwright. And if you're a guest or a caller, you certainly are naughty. So some quick introductions. Glenn, say hi.
Hi.
That's it? Hi?
That's for now.
Okay.
We can get done with all this. I don't want to tie you up. Just,
Okay. And we have an extraordinary guest today, John Dial. He's from At the Helm Training. Say hi, John.
Hello, boys.
All right, good. We often start the show with what I think is just a phenomenal joke.
Phenomenal.
Right. Glenn disagrees all the time.
Let's see what you got today.
You want to hear it?
Yeah,
Okay.
It better be phenomenal.
I don't even need to argue with the audience. So I'm not even. It's not me. It's them.
All right. If I get a smile out of John, I think we're good, right? All right. Here we go. Here's the naughty joke. A person standing on the dock was startled by a man who was swimming through the water with his arms full of fishing gear. Frantic, he threw the gear on the dock, shouting, "Here, hold this." He pointed back to the water to show his boat was almost completely sunk. As he threw his stuff to the man's feet and turned to swim back to the boat, the man said, "Where are you going?" He goes, I got to go back for my wife.
I like that.
That's a good joke.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Fishing gear first, then the wife?
Absolutely. You got to have priorities.
I don't have a problem with going fishing. My wife tells me all the time, "How can I miss you if you don't leave?"
Good point. Good point.
Okay, so...
Please, leave.
Yeah, right. In just a minute, we're going to have John talk about At the Helm Training. Then we'll have a call-in questions and answer segment. Just to let everybody know out there, the calling number is 772-773-2600. And every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30 p.m. Eastern, you can call in, ask us questions, marine surveying questions, mechanical questions, or any guests we have on, you can ask them questions. So please do, and please subscribe and follow the show. We'd love that. So, all right, John. So we got John Dial from At the Helm Training. John, let's start from the beginning. Where are you originally from?
Oh, my God. I hate to admit it, but Missouri.
Missouri?
Yeah, man. Landlocked.
Okay.
Mississippi River. That's it.
All right.
Left there at 17.
Last time I was there, it was brown water. What's with the brown
Yeah,
water?
man. It's that muddy Mississippi, brother.
Mississippi.
But you're lucky. You left early. You still got a set of bones left.
Hey,
Not like me.
Listen, at 17 years old, I went to the military and then got out of the military and enrolled in college. I didn't attend, but I enrolled and went on spring break to Hilton Head, South Carolina, right? And got a job down there as a lifeguard on a beach. And at the end of the summer, when everybody left, I stayed. And a guy named Paul Broyhill had a furniture company, came up. and said,
Broyhill Furniture.
yeah, Royal Furniture.
Wow, big deal.
And so he said, I need somebody to go on my boat. There's a hurricane. I was like, what does it pay? He said, $50 a day. And I'm thinking, who do I have to kill? 'Cause that was a lot of money back then, 70s, like, 77, 78. And I went on the boat, and the captain, let's just say he was colorful, right? And I figured, well, if this...
Old school?
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't say old school. I'd say more a little woke, right? But he, I thought if this cat can do this, it's got to be a fairly easy thing to do. So I got a job with a guy that was French Canadian, hockey player actually, and worked on his boat for 3-4 years and got to understand how it operated, and then built a boat and got my captain's license, and then worked for the owner of Kansas City Royals for many, many years. Had a long-term contract with Helm, and then from Helm I went to another guy that was a real estate developer for about 7 or 8 years on another boat. Went all over Europe and Latin America, then worked for a country singer, a guy named Alan Jackson. Maybe you heard of him.
Sure. Alan
worked
Jackson.
for Alan.
Yeah.
We had 31 boats in the fleet, and go ahead, open that beer.
I don't want to.
Go ahead.
I got some manners.
Oh, God.
You can see how this is deteriorating quickly, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
So you're captaining for the rich and famous here.
Yeah.
Kansas City Royals owner, Alan Jackson. I mean, Broyhill Furniture.
Yeah.
So you're famous.
No. It's lifestyles of those that work for the rich and famous.
I
right?
work for the rich.
We changed the names to protect the guilty in these stories.
I got you. Okay.
The help. When you get to that. That's
So
all.
you're just
I worked on the boats. You're
That's
just
right.
the help. You got the pool. You got the houses.
Yeah.
That's all. I did 10 years in the Hamptons.
Yeah, but isn't the captain's word law?
Yeah, no.
No. Not when it comes to who's paying you.
No, that's right. He who has the gold makes the rule.
Right.
Unless it's a safety issue. Now, if it's a safety issue, that's when you got to kind of like go, nah, I don't think so, pal.
Yeah. So when I got my captain's license years and years ago, I was always under the impression that somebody acted up on the boat or the yacht, you can lock them away. Like you were an officer. What do you think of that?
Well, I think you can do it, but sometimes because you can doesn't mean you should, right?
Right.
And especially when you're dealing at that 1% level, and let's face it, they got more money and can afford a better attorney than you can. So,
Right.
it might be one you want to, default to. Here, let's have another drink and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, how did you get involved? How did you start at the Helm training?
It's been an interesting trip. I've been in the yachting industry for, since 78. How many? You should know that. You're the same age.
I started 74.
Yeah, it's a long time, right? And, and back then, there was no really schools except for Ron Wall Sea School. MPT was not in existence. Chapman
But that
was
was
just
the
barely.
America used to be. You
Yeah.
worked with a plumber, you became a plumber. You
Yeah.
worked at the boatyard, became a boatyard. Now everything is just bullshit. We'll skip that. But yes, back then, you worked somewhere, you learned the trade when you were young, and you...
Yeah. Well, and now fast forward, let's just do the math. There's probably somewhere around 90 to 150 boats every year sold into the United States that are from, we're going to call 60 feet to 90 feet. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to find these captains? Where are you going to find these people? And now, hiring a captain. You ever see the movie Captain Ron? That's kind of what's out there.
Right.
Well, I have a buddy that's a captain here and there, and it's not only that. So he was going to do the Ferretti, which has no rub rail, 92-foot boat that doesn't have a rub rail. How am I supposed to dock that? But we'll skip that.
Depends on which one it is. If it's Nevada, you're right.
Right, and then how am I supposed to roll that on a pole? So we'll skip that whole subject. Yeah. But it was supposed to be. They took the boat up north. I don't want to, here and there, and the captain, the first mate, they all walked off the boat.
Yeah,
he was just like, I can't deal with this guy.
Turns
$17,000 in linens, but
tell me what At the Helm does. What do you guys do?
Basically, what we do is we fill that gap between owner, operator, and captain. Because what happens is, let's say you sold your business and you and your wife decide you want to do the Great Loop, and you're buying a 55-foot, Grand Banks or something like that. Well, you had a 35-foot center console, dual console before. That doesn't move you up. Anything over 10 feet now constitutes you have to have a captain or get your captain's license or have experience, right? So we saw that void in that niche, and myself and 2 other captains wrote a syllabus. Well, you think that's easy. Well, now you got to meet the national standards. We're the only ones in the United States that I know of that meet all the national standards for NASBA and NSBC and Coast Guard. And if you probably never heard of them, have you?
No, I have.
Okay.
I'm a captain, but
Have
most
you,
people
have you heard of NASBA?
I have.
National Association of Safe Boating Law Administrators, right? And those guys make up all the rules for all 50 states for small boat 27 feet and down rules. There is nobody that's made up rules from 27 feet and up. So we saw that gap in it. We got those affiliations, and we work with the Coast Guard as well. And even though there is no certification from Coast Guard to this, we're not a licensing agent. But what we found is by teaching people the systems of their boat and then driving them, that keeps them from being victims in the in the industry. And you know better than I do.
See, the whole problem. That's another problem. Because it's called drowning. So I bought this thing. I'm going to take my family out. I'm going to go, I'm going to go a mile out past the inlet. Now I've got a fire. I'm taking on water. I don't even know how to open the fucking engine hatch, and it's electric. And it's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I do surveying, and I also do damage surveying. And the damage surveying, half the time I interview the owner of the boat, and he's like, "Yeah, it's my first boat. Never had a boat. Never been on a boat. Never."
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You bought this 50-foot boat, and you don't know. So
and you got to dock it.
Hey, let me ask you something. You drive a car?
yeah,
You fly a plane?
yeah,
You ride a motorcycle?
Yep.
yeah.
Right?
You
Scuba dive?
You need a license.
You got to have hands-on training for all that.
Right.
So you're putting somebody into a 55-foot center console with 600 engines on the back of it in a target-rich environment, right, with a moving surface. What possibly could go wrong?
It's a missile on the water.
Dude, I got my boat on the other side of the Roosevelt Bridge.
Yeah.
So you were just talking about the loop.
Yeah.
So if you're going to own a trawler,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. I got the 30 Allura with the keel. I go through the Roosevelt Bridge. Oh, you got everything straight. Man, that current will take that boat. I'm like, whoa! And then you got some other guys like, I'm going to squeeze through. It's like, you got no idea what's going on here,
I'm
man.
that guy squeezing through.
Yeah.
On that 75, 80 footer going, I hope you're good.
Right.
You know what? I don't care anymore. I was like, if you wanted to do it, I'm well insured. Here's my card. I'm not drunk.
And people don't realize boats don't have brakes, right? Boats don't have brakes. So they have to learn. Okay, so tell me about your company. How many on the staff?
Okay, we've got about 64, 65 captains that are all 1099, independent contractors. We've got a booking agent that's full-time. We've got, a marketing, and we've got accounting. So full-time staff, we've got about 4 or 5, and then everybody else a 1099, player, because captains are like fish, they're moving around all the time, and, if they're good ones,
It's a
they're
tough life.
busy.
We gave them a ride home from the airport. People, it's like a transient life, and you don't get paid till, I got to drive the boat up to Long Island. Well, now I got to get an Uber. I got to go to the airport, and I got to fly home, and then I got to take the train up to my house, and I got to take an Uber home.
You got to love what you do when you're captaining. That's just the bottom line, because it is a rough life, and it's a lonely life too. So
Gypsy
as you
to
know,
a point almost.
but so you have the company, the staff, and you gave us the history. So how long have you been in business?
We've been in business about 2.5 years, and in those 2.5 years, we've done about 800 trainings. We've had one accident, reported out all that, and that's because a guy did not do what we told him. He did something different. We've created about 2,900, and I'm going to say 3,000, because we're 8 shy of 3,000 days of employment for our mariners, and we've created another 1,875 days in the marine trades for people that come in and do things for us.
You're creating jobs.
We're creating jobs.
Wow.
If you
and
have
you're
the
helping
talent.
people.
Yeah. And the really part of that is, we work with Chapman's seamanship school. We take their captains when they come out, and we send people in that want to get their captains, and it's a real good synergy. We work with the National Safe Boating Council, which they've developed the curriculum for the 27 feet and down. So we train that for them. And what we're trying to do is create a standard nationwide, just like the FAA does for airplanes. And this is what we're all going to teach, because, listen, it's the same way with surveyors, captains, everything. Nobody's the same, right? So if you all have the same checklist and we're all working from the same playbook, then we can have some consistency. But as it is now, It's the wild, wild west, but we're trying to change that. And we're doing it one training at a time.
So you said locations. Where is your physical location?
My physical office is at Sunset Bay here in Stewart at the marina there. We've got a little office right there, but we have got captains in almost every location between here and New England.
Okay.
I mean, we've got them everywhere.
So you're really national at this point.
Yes, we are.
And you're still expanding.
It's one of those things that you don't want to take on more than you can service because, I don't know if you've been on our website, but we don't have one rating that's not 5-star.
Yeah, no, I've been there and I've studied. It's wonderful.
And if I get a 4, that's the guy I'm irritated by.
Right.
The 5s, if you're a 5, you're just normal.
And you got a guy that could take care of that guy who gave you the 4.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a question.
We're giving him a 3. It's like Uber, right?
So, driving a boat.
Yeah.
Right? It's either you got it or you don't. My father went and got a captain's license, like 1970. Problem is he couldn't drive a boat. And I would have to drive, So if somebody couldn't do anything, he should never be on the water. He was very smart. He could do all the math, and he goes, it's a lot of math, that's why, but anyway. So, when someone comes to go for a captain's license and they just can't, not to be insulting, because we sold dealerships for years and people would get very upset. We said, you know what? Why don't you try RVing? You got to launch a boat. You got to do it. No,
nothing could
but
go
it's
wrong
not
there.
Insulting. It's not insulting.
Why don't you go camping?
So if you're on a boat, no, it's not funny.
Okay.
We've had people break
It
wrists
is
on
fun.
the ramp. It's not. So if someone comes to you, believe me, this guy. And you're trying to give them a captain's license, and they just can't drive the boat.
Well, first off, we don't
Panic
give captain's
attacks.
license, right? Number one. And number 2, not everybody passes.
Right.
Okay.
We had just had a guy today that he did 15 days, but you know what? You're not probably going to pass if you start drinking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's your MO.
Well,
you're not going to pass.
So that was Glenn.
Yeah, it was Glenn. Yeah. He's only 2 beers in so far. I
don't
expect to
drink-
see 2 more. Right?
Let me tell you something. I am not a captain. Okay? When I drive my boat, I do not drink.
You're a guest.
No, I'm not a guest. I got to go through the bridge. I draw 3 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
And getting back through the inlet is very scary sometimes.
And you've got a full keel in that boat, right? Like a
3
long
feet.
keel.
No, well, it stops but the prop, so if I miss, that will
Right,
hit.
but that boat has a characteristic that's hard in current to steer because of that keel. Makes it more difficult, especially if you're angled off that current one way or the other. So, that's not the easiest.
She's light in the back. It's all fish box.
So what I'm getting
she
from this
gets
whole
sideways.
thing, John, is Glenn is going to have to take some of your classes.
I don't need
Hey,
classes.
listen, Glenn's got enough talent, doing the shipwright and all the other stuff. You don't have to worry.
All right, so let me move on. So we're talking about your services.
Right.
What services do you offer? And then get into some cost.
Okay, we offer everything from a 4-module NSBC small boat handling course, and that generally comes out to about $650 to $850 per person on that course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if there's 2 people, we make it a lot more palatable, and so the second person doesn't cost near as much as if 2 people did it individually. Then we have the big boat training course, which is a minimum 5 days. And it's basically almost the same price as just hiring a captain. Comes out to about $800 a day. And that includes your training and your syllabus and everything else. And then it just comes down to how quick you can learn. If you do your homework before we get in there, and you know that when I point to your rate cores, what they are and what they do, and your air conditioning pump and your through hulls, and you've done your homework, it goes pretty quick. But if you go in there and you're on a phone call because I'm busy with my business, it may take a while. And at least
Do you get a discount on your insurance for taking your course?
No, the insurance will not give you a discount for anything. They could care less.
That's what I was saying before. These people buy the boat, you go out in the inlet, you got water, they that's what I'm saying. If you have a panic attack now, you're really fucked. But
Well,
I
I'll tell
would be
you.
like, hey, you take his course, it would pay at the end.
Well, our number one business feeder are the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Insurance companies and FWC.
Yeah.
Those are our 2 biggest feeders in the internet. We've got total about 40,000 followers on us, and we're partners with the qualified captain, which you've all heard of Helm,
Captain.
right?
Oh yeah.
And then
love his
the
videos, just that
new
buoy.
kid on the block that we deal with is Harley with How To Boating. I watched this kid go from 60, 70,000 followers to 200,000 in 7 months. And what he does, he takes our material and puts it on a very easy to follow, 30-second TikTok. And, and all this stuff works real good, when you put that together with hands-on.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this age limit. I got a daughter who's 14.
Yeah.
She's been boating her whole life, but if I want to get her some lessons and stuff, would you take somebody 14 years old?
Chapman's.
Take
those to Chapman's.
She's signed up for Chapman's.
Yeah,
already.
no, Chapman's has got a kids program. It works really, really well, and they're set up for it. They've got 4 training boats. Matter of fact, my top guy went to work with Jim and those guys at Chapman's. We collaborate a lot together. We don't do what they do as good as they do it, and they don't do what we do as good as we do it. But when you work together in this industry, and this is a $35.5 billion into Southeast Florida from the marine industry last year, right? This is not like not like the not so bright line. I won't even get into
What
that.
the fuck does 6 outboards cost? I mean,
What's the fuel cost, right?
So yeah,
I'm doing 8 gallons an hour.
We had Jim Allen from Chapman's on.
Love that guy.
Phenomenal guy, phenomenal school. I went out there, looked at. I mean, it's just great. I signed my daughter up. It was so great. And you were talking about your top guy, John Haggerty. Was
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Did Jim tell you a story about him getting clipped off the deck down in Nicaragua and sitting out there in the water getting picked?
No, but I'll have to.
You gotta ask him.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him.
Have him show you the video, dude. It's bad.
Oh wait! No, he told us about that.
Oh yeah.
He told us about the helicopter
Yeah.
that was trying to land.
Yeah,
Yes, he
yeah.
told us about. He
He's
was in the water.
Yeah, he's got a video of that.
Yeah, he
man.
showed us the video. Oh yeah,
That's
no.
real deal, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been.
I'm sorry he did.
Yeah,
Somebody offered me the the little boat bitch thing, like $250 today, to take a boat down to what islands were those? Turcos and Caicos. I'm like, I'm not fucking going down there.
Turks and Caicos. Yeah.
the guys that we had, the one incident we
Oh
had,
fuck! No one, you can't get
it was
anybody.
Jacques and Pierre, and they decided it was a good idea to go to Costa Rica on a 62-foot, Beneteau trawler, right? First thing they asked is, what do you think about taking it down there? I said, put it on a ship. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what the thing is, you need to have guns with you to go through there. But if you go there, they take your guns, and then if you don't declare them, you're in prison. Just
Where
don't
did you
even
get this
go.
guy?
Don't even go.
Where did you get this guy?
I met this guy 28 years ago, and I'm in therapy. That's all. I'm doing my therapy every week. I go to therapy, but no, he's a good guy. He's a very talented guy, but.
He's entertaining.
He's very entertaining.
I can't wait to see you out of this podcast so I can really find out what you're all about, right? Oh my
He's
God.
good.
Just
He's good at
50
what he
years
does.
in the bills, man. That's it.
That's what those fumes will do, right?
Oh, man.
He's inhaled everything. Okay, and how do people get in touch with you? Give us your website, give us your address, give us your phone number.
Yeah, the website is www.thehelmtraining.com. My phone number is 561-445-0078. That calls me directly. You think I'd give you the office one, but I don't remember that off the top of my head. But pretty much we do everything through the website.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. I've been a proponent for my whole career. Mm-hmm. I really think people should get licenses to pilot a boat. That's my opinion. I've talked to legislators in New York about that.
They won't touch it.
They won't touch it because of cost, right?
Well, it's not only that. People think that it's their right
Right.
to run a boat, right? And the reality of it is it's not your right, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
Right? And you drive down the interstate every day in your car. You're driving along, listening to music, calling him on the phone, chit-chatting about your podcast, and you do so with the confidence and the thought process that everybody around you has a driver's license and insurance. So you figure at least 98% of them, right? Flip that number. That's what you got on a boat. There's
Right.
98% of the people around you have never had a boating lesson at all. And I would say probably 40 or 50% don't have any insurance because it's loaded on a trailer, doesn't have to go to a marina, and they just don't have it because the insurance is the bus that drives the whole machine.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we really teach is real hurricane preparedness.
Right.
Which is, having a haul out plan that's real, that's paid for.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Boating's
going to probably
not a-
write it out up there in Okeechobee. Supposedly the water stays the same.
Actually, anywhere on the west side of that lock, that's what we learned in Fort Myers. We didn't lose a single guy out of that, right? My guys went on the other side of the lock. Downtown Fort Myers, I think, had like, I want to say 12 feet up above flood level downtown. On the other side of the lock was only 6 feet.
Yeah. So when I say the legislators and costs, what I mean really is they don't want to touch us because, again, you'll lose boaters. You say you need a license, people aren't
You'll
voting.
lose voters, not boaters. You'll
Voters.
lose
There you go.
That's-
The almighty voter.
Well, you
yes.
know Senator Garcia out of Miami, right?
sure,
I helped her draft that legislation for the liveries 2 years ago, which passed and never was enacted because everybody's scared to touch that.
Right.
But the insurance companies can handle that. And that, it makes no sense to me that the insurance companies don't say, okay, you bought a boat, you want you came from a 50-footer to a 65-footer. We want you to be checked out by one guy, just to
Yeah,
check.
but it's like for the rich, I need a CDL to drive with a F-350 to tow a backhoe, but I can buy a Prius bus and tow my boat and my car.
I know. So okay, all right. We're gonna get some callers on the line now. I see the phones are starting to ring. So let's get some callers. Again, the number to call in is 772-773-2600. So we're gonna get some calls on the line here. But
You know what? You know why you need it's called drowning.
yeah, drowning's not good.
Right. You know how many people want to take their family out or refuse to work on the boat? It's like at a gas leak. Well, can I just got to take my family? No.
Is drowning a symptom or an end result?
I'm just, look at the sports star when they try to get the anchor.
I got a caller, guys. I got to take this.
Hi.
All right, hold on. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Hey, this is Brian, and I have a question for Greg.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I just want to say thanks for taking my call. I love the show, and I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Oh, great. Thanks, Brian.
So listen, I'm looking at buying a newer boat. I hear a lot about cats, and I want to know, what do you prefer, monohull or cat boats? And just, if you don't mind, spend a few minutes just telling me why.
So are you talking about power or sail? You're a power boater?
No.
Yeah, you're a power boater, not a sailboater.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the difference between monohull, which for the audience, deep V, right? Deep V monohull, and a cat, which is two hulls, right? So what's the differences? Well, characteristically, first let me say this: the monohull's a sexier boat, right? Everybody looks at them and goes, look at that boat. It's a beautiful boat. Secondly, believe it or not, resale. It matters in resale. People are used to monohull boats, right? So, give me a deep V monohull, give me a Contender, give me a Yellowfin, give me a, Jupiter, whatever it is. And they look at some of these cat boats and they don't know anything about them. So there's a little ignorance there, but they're not really, I would say they don't really know enough about cats to make that decision. So the sexiness, the resale value, but let me tell you about the characteristics. So monohull, great boat. You'll get a boat like a Contender or a Jupiter or something, 22 degrees dead rise aft, cuts through the water. As you're fishing, it's going to rock back and forth. As you come into a turn, a berm, it's gonna lean the way you're powering that boat in, and it's not gonna chine walk. It's gonna dig in, and you're gonna go right. They're fast. All these other things. The cat boats, you got to get used to a cat boat. I mean, the way they drive is this. Now, in a head sea, they're phenomenal, right? So those two hulls, they'll go through the sea. They'll hit. They'll go through. When you turn that boat, you're going the opposite way. So you turn left, your body's going right. It's a weird feeling, right? It's almost being on a displacement hull or something. So you got to get used to that. Now, the other problem with the cat hulls is they're usually much, much wider. So if you're going to travel this boat or you're buying a bigger boat and you need a slip, Think about a 30-foot or a 35-foot cat that has a 14.5-foot beam or larger.
You're going to pay extra on the slip.
You're going to
for
pay
that.
a lot extra on slip. You're going to pay a lot extra. And so they do give you the room inside. They do give you things like that. But it's a much wider platform, which will then, in turn, cost you more in slip fees, things like that. So now I have John who's waving at me here.
Yeah.
Brian, I think John wants to chime in.
Yeah, when you're talking about these cats, especially when you're talking about like a Freeman, something with, a couple 600s on the back, we've got some guys named Trace Martin and those guys, and they specialize in training on that 60 miles an hour and up, because that is a whole different animal, my friend. That's you start looking at those skaters and some of these cats that are high speed, and they get that air up under them. The hydrodynamics are totally different. So it really comes down to what is the mission that you're trying to do here. If you want to go fast or you want to go fishing, you want the room. So it's kind of it's a variable question.
Yeah, and
Right,
Brian.
Yeah, that's a lot to consider. But what about versatility, man?
Yeah, versatility. So my opinion on versatility is the conventional monohull is probably, if you're a fisherman, you're looking to go 30 knots, 35 knots, you're looking to go out of the inlet and go fishing, the monohull's a great boat, right? The cats, you get that hull slap, you get that sneeze, the water coming up. They steer differently. So if you're not a race guy, the cat boats, again, they ride well, they give you plenty of room, but you got to consider the slip cost, you got to consider the characteristics, and you got to consider, really what builder is building that cat boat, because there's a million center console monohull builders. There's a handful of cat builders. So, if you want, you could always call me. You got the number, and we can discuss it further. But that's something to consider, okay?
That's a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the knowledge you guys are sharing.
Yeah, no problem at all. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe, follow, and tell your friends.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, a cat. I mean, the first time I ever drove a cat, I couldn't believe the way it handled.
I
was
don't like
whoa.
them, though.
Yeah, it goes.
They feel queer to me. I'm not saying they're great boats, but I've been on a V-hull my whole life. I just get like the queer. Like,
Do you know what a gunboat is? You know what
PT?
a gunboat is?
Yeah.
No. Carbon fiber cat.
Carbon fiber, yeah.
We built the last 3 of those out and built a 80-footer
Wow.
out of carbon fiber. Yeah. It was sail. Do 20 knots under sail. Yeah, got a call.
Got a call, guys. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Hey, my name is Mike. My question is for John.
Oh, you got one, John.
Let's hear
Hey,
it.
John, I was wondering, I'm a first-time boat owner, and I was at the boat ramp on July 4th, and I witnessed an accident, and everybody carried on like nothing happened, but there was definitely damage on one of the vessels. Going forward, if something like that does happen, God forbid, who do you call to mitigate something like that?
I would call FWC first phone call, or the local water police. Like if it's within Stewart, they have a police officer on the water as well. So does Martin County, and so does FWC. So you got 3 local areas, and then of course if it's something larger and it's outside the line of demarcation, Coast Guard.
There you go.
Hope it answered it for you.
Perfect. And then going forward, being that this is my first boat, I'm pretty confident driven boats on lakes and tubing with friends. But when I'm taking people out on the boat, I have a lot of responsibility to it. Locally, is there anywhere I can go where someone, can hone my skills or tell me what I'm doing wrong or right?
Yeah, at the Helm training, bro.
At the Helm training. Awesome.
Go to the website. We got you.
Perfect.
All right. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, guys.
Hey, thanks.
for the
Please
call.
like and follow, and thanks for calling in.
And not for nothing, but do you got a phone number for people like me, like website? What, I work for NASA?
Yeah, he did. No,
You did that? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
he
just-
did the
yeah.
phone.
I'll give you my personal number.
I don't
worry.
need it.
I
I can
got you.
drive my boat.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
good.
got it. Okay.
And we would never
So-
be going through the bridge at the same time.
That's right.
You should know, because I can get under the other bridge, so just the train bridge, and we're allowed to go through first.
So,
Unless, of course, you called on the VHF.
You can get
ahead.
under the train bridge.
No, not the train. I
sorry.
can get under the other bridge.
So, what's your opinion of the train bridge? That's another podcast.
I've given up.
That's
I've
another
given up.
podcast.
You know, because my boat's right near there, and I listen to it all day. It is what it is. You just have to wait.
I got a call. Hi, welcome to Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Who am I speaking with, and who's your question for?
Hey, this is Captain Ken. I have a question for Glenn the Machine.
Oh my God, Glenn the Maniac.
The machine. I like that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hey, so I got my my 14-foot whaler with my 60 horsepower EFI Mercury 4-stroke, and the engine shuts off randomly if I hit a wake in a going through at cruising speed about 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs.
When you hit a wake and it shuts
Yeah.
off
Oh yeah. Shuts off, and
immediately,
then I-
or does
and
it
I-
bog?
Oh no, it shuts clean off, and you get an alarm about a 3 to 5 second continuous beep, and then I'm able to restart it again right away. You know,
Sounds
put it
like a
back in
loose
neutral.
connection, which is really going to suck. Start with all the grounds, and then after that, it's every single connector.
You talking
Well,
up in the power head?
I already solved the problem.
Battery connection? What was it?
Bad battery cables.
There you go.
Oh, look it.
Ding. That's exactly what he said.
So you called in to stump the
Well,
mechanic.
wait a minute. If you're a bad captain, you got loose battery. If you're a captain, you got loose battery connections. I don't know, man. I know this
that.
captain. He was a kangaroo, actually. You know.
Remember that Captain Ron thing we were talking about?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right,
It's just
good.
a reminder. Everybody check your battery connections. If you
Hey,
got a
listen.
gremlin
Good
somewhere,
good
that could be
info. Good info.
Oh,
Thanks.
not only that. No, because I had one in Sag Harbor. Not only your battery connections, nobody could figure it out. You have that all the battery cables, the major bus bars
Yeah.
in the bilge.
Yeah.
Loose connections on the bus bars.
Sure,
I
of
fix
course.
more. That's
Or-
my
or
tip for the
corrosion.
day.
Or
If you have
corrosion.
electrical problems, when you open up that fucking electrical
so-
cabinet, you have 7,000 screws. Shut the batteries off. Turn off the shore power and check every 110 fucking screws.
All right, so I guess we answered your question because you answered your question. So, hey, thanks for calling in, and please subscribe, listen, and like. And I really enjoyed you stumping Glenn like that.
He didn't stump me.
He
I
didn't
said
stump me.
battery at the
He
end.
said battery before the guy said battery. I'm going to have to take up for you, Glenn.
Okay,
you
thank
had
you, my
that
friend.
one. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care.
All right.
All right, so I can't believe he calls in, asks you the question, and says, "Well, this is what happened." That was
Why
good,
not?
Glenn. That's good, Glenn.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, so we're getting to the end of our show. John, anything else you want to add? Anything you want to tell the people?
No, not on this podcast. We can come back for another one.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna have you on a lot.
Dude, this is more fun than drowning baby chickens. I'm telling you. This has been a lot
Baby
of fun.
chickens, huh?
Dude, I'm telling you, when he picked up on the battery terminal quickly like that, I was like, I thought maybe this was just like a ruse, but no, he's a real deal.
No, yeah, he's a mechanic.
No, he's got
Unfortunately.
Hey, this is my new number to call, right?
Yeah, right. So,
Glad to come back again.
okay, good. So, hey, we always have a tip at the end of the show. So I'm going to give you my tip this week. And my tip is, listen, I survey boats for new boaters all the time. These guys, they go out, they buy a boat, $500,000, $1 million, right? They get on the boat. Next thing you know, I'm there surveying the damage, hit the bridge, hit another boat, came down a canal and took out 5, 6, 7 boats. Mm-hmm. Guys, get professional training. Hire a captain. Take lessons. I got friends that are golfers. They take golf lessons.
Absolutely.
And they're not going to kill anybody with a golf club. Well, I got one friend I'll kill.
No, I was just I just came up with something great. I don't want to forget.
Okay, wait. Hold
tip
on.
for the day. I try to remember it.
So what I'm saying to you is call at the Helm training, guys like that, and please take lessons. I won't have to come out, look at your broken up boat and fiberglass everywhere, and God forbid, I don't want to see hurt people anymore, you know?
Well, we have women instructors too, because, you know, some ladies don't want to take it from, you know, guys like Helm.
Right.
And
Actually, I stick up for the wife on the boat. It's the husband I fight with.
well, the
And I
wives
always,
are better,
in my
actually.
50 years, you wouldn't believe how many fucking times I have to go to the wife and I said, yes, because the husband's being a dick, and I said, yes, you should be worried. It's called drowning. I just don't want to talk
Where did
about
you get this guy?
I've been on the water for 50 years. I've seen it. It's what happens. Nobody gets it.
It's a love-hate thing, John.
It's a love-hate thing. It's not funny, man.
All right,
It's
what's your tip, Glenn?
So what's your tip? You can either take boating lessons, or you could be my next vid. Well, not mine, but I could watch you on Captain Retriever.
I love that guy. I love that guy.
Oh, makes me so happy.
I follow him too.
Yeah, Captain Retriever. Good.
Or don't end up on the qualified captain page either, right?
Exactly.
It ain't no sense in being stupid if you can't prove it.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, John, any tip for people?
Just be safe. Wear your PFD. Use your engine cutoff switches. Those are probably the two big
the
ones
law.
right there. Well, yeah, it is, but those are the two big ones right there.
All right, good. All
Because
right.
the prop will come around and get you.
Yeah, you don't want to get in a prop. That's it. All right, guys. So listen, we're at the end of our show. Again, we really want to thank John Dial from At the Helm Training. You're phenomenal. You will be back many times.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, good.
We got lots of stuff to cover here, guys.
Absolutely.
Lots of stories here. A lot of, there's A stories, B stories, and C stories, right? A story, you had to be there. B story, I'll trade you for. C stories, we can give to everybody.
There you go. And
I'm actually an imposter. Mr. Shadbolt's not here.
yeah, we can't cover everything we want to cover in an hour, but we got to go. So for survey information, again, I'm a marine surveyor here in Southeast Florida. For survey information, call 772-773-2600 or go to my website, pinnaclemarinegroup.com. So I'd like to thank our producer, Micah Murley, and our production assistant, Samantha. And please hit that subscribe, follow, or like button. And please tune in next Thursday and every Thursday for Nauti Buoys Boat Show. Every week we will have exciting guests, informative news. May you have fair winds, following seas, and tight lines. God bless you, everybody.